Welcome back to U.S.C's channel. My name is Anton Vieltsin and I'm a criminal defense attorney in the Southern District of California, here in San Diego. In this video, we'll revisit a statute that we have seen before, namely conspiracy to distribute a controlled substance. But unlike my prior videos, where the facts usually deal with somebody simply distributing narcotics on the street, in this video, the facts are slightly different. We have a licensed physician prescribing narcotics or a controlled substance without a legitimate medical purpose. So let's go ahead and take a look at this case. In this video, we'll be discussing United States versus Garrison, a 9th Circuit case from 2018. And as always, we're first going to discuss the facts, and then we're going to talk about the law. So here's what happened. We have a Lake Medical Group clinic, which the court calls essentially a pill mill. There, Mr. Garrison worked as a licensed physician assistant. From August 2008 to September 2010, this clinic prescribed roughly 13,207 OxyContin prescriptions. Here's how the clinic operated. Essentially, they had patient recruiters. Here's how it looked like. There were individuals working for the clinic who would go around, usually homeless shelters, where they would find names and medical information, and they would later generate fraudulent prescriptions for those people. Now, the individuals would not actually receive the pills. Instead, the clinic themselves would take the pills and later sell illegally. In 2011, Mr. Garrison and 11 others were indicted under 21 U.S.C. 846 with conspiracy to distribute narcotics for no legitimate medical purpose. If you've been paying attention to my videos, you have seen this statute before, 21 U.S.C. 846. This is your conspiracy charge. And what is the conspiracy? It is an agreement between two or more people to do something illegal. So when you look up this statute, all you're going to see is the definition for conspiracy. But what is the underlying crime? The underlying crime is the distribution of narcotics without legitimate medical purpose. Why do prosecutors like charging Mr. Garrison and others with conspiracy? Well, there are many reasons, but here's a couple. One, it makes the case bigger. More people will be charged in the conspiracy rather than charging Mr. Garrison alone with a distribution charge. When you have more than one person, in this case Garrison and 11 others, you're going to have individuals turn on each other. You're going to have some cooperators working with the government to reduce their own charges or work off the time. And when that happens, it significantly reduces your chances, or Mr. Garrison's chances, winning a trial, because you have these other individuals testifying against you. And finally, when you have a conspiracy, unfortunately, you can be responsible for other co-conspirators' actions, even if you didn't know who those people were, simply because you were in the same conspiracy. So even though you might not be facing more time in prison when you have a conspiracy charge, you could because it's a bigger case. And so that is the three biggest reasons why prosecutors like conspiracy charges. Quick interruption. Can you do me a huge favor? Can you click that subscribe button below? It will help me grow this channel. And then after you do that, can you take one of my videos and share it on your Facebook with your friends? That will also help me grow the channel. And no, you're not going to be entered in some sweepstakes for anything. You're not going to win anyway, but it will make you feel good it will make you feel like a hero today. So let's go ahead and subscribe and share. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching that little clip. So now let's go back to the video. So here's what happened. Mr. Garrison and others took the case to trial. At trial, these recruited patients that I've described earlier testified that they were never examined by Mr. Garrison or anyone else at the clinic. There is a video of Mr. Garrison prescribing OxyContin to a recruited patient after only seeing him for 6 minutes. In fact, there were other individuals working for the clinic who also testified that the idea was to give OxyContin basically to anyone. The prescriptions were not co-signed by licensed physicians. And Mr. Garrison had a prescription book that was pre-signed. This way, other individuals at the clinic would simply prescribe the narcotics, the OxyContin, without even a need for Mr. Garrison to be there, because the book was pre-signed. Mr. Garrison loses a trial and his case goes to sentencing. He receives 120 months of custody in the Bureau of Prisons and he appeals his sentence. He essentially argues that there was insufficient evidence to convict him of this crime, conspiracy to distribute. But here's what the court says. First, let's look at the standard. When we're in the Court of Appeals, the Ninth Circuit, the Court of Appeals will look whether any rational trier of fact, in this case the jury, could find the essential elements of the crime beyond a reasonable doubt. So what are the elements? So I listed them here in the box. First, you have the conspiracy elements. I told you the conspiracy elements before, earlier in the video. But it is an agreement to accomplish an illegal objective, and there must be an intent to commit the underlying offense. So basically an agreement between two or more people to commit an underlying offense. What is the underlying offense? It is the distribution of narcotics without legitimate medical purpose, which has three elements. Distribution of the substance that is outside the usual course of professional practice. And finally, the person must have intent to distribute those narcotics outside the usual course of professional practice. Those are your elements of the crime. When we look at the elements and what the jury did with those elements, whether they understood the instructions, the court says that there was alarming high volume of evidence in this crime, that Mr. Garrison is in fact guilty of the crime. Once the conspiracy is established, and again, we can establish that conspiracy by circumstantial evidence. We don't have to have individuals actually shaking hands and agreeing to commit a crime. We can all look at the facts and see whether there was underlying agreement between Mr. Garrison and 11 others. And once that conspiracy is established, only a slight connection is necessary to support the conviction. And in this case, the court says that there was not a slight connection, there was much more. Mr. Garrison was a major actor in this crime. And then finally, Mr. Garrison makes another argument that during trial, several individuals had their case dismissed, which made him look more guilty in front of the jury. And here's what the Court of Appeals, Ninth Circuit says, that the court in those situations must do only one thing. They should tell the jury that the defendants are no longer part of the case. And that's it. And finally, the court can tell the jury not to speculate why those other individuals were dismissed from the case. And in this particular set of circumstances, that is exactly what the district court did. They simply told the jury that the other co-conspirators had their case dismissed and they're no longer part of the case. That's it. I hope you now understand how conspiracies work and what is the standard of review once we're in the Court of Appeals. Now, something you can tell from this case is that once the trial is over, appeals are very difficult. So you should always hire the best representation you can afford in order to bring all the arguments to the table at trial. I'm not saying that the attorney in this case did a bad job. Of course, I don't know all the facts. Sometimes cases are simply not good to take to trial. But if you're going that route, have all the arguments on the table. This way, when you go to the appellate court, if you lose, you have more to argue about than simply that there's not enough evidence to convict. Because in this situation, the court said otherwise. I hope you enjoyed this video. Click like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so next time I post, you'll be first to know. Thanks for watching.